Hi, my name is Susan and welcome to Sketchbook Stories. In this series, I'm going to open up the pages of my own sketchbooks to show you exactly what's inside. Let's get stuck in. Hi everybody, and a huge warm welcome to this episode of Sketchbook Stories with myself, Susan Yeates. And today I wanted to show you inside one of my project-based sketchbooks. And this is a little project I've been working on for, actually I think it's a couple of years. And a project sketchbook is one that I would say I repeat the same thing in again and again and again. So it's very different to some of my daily sketchbooks where I just sketch whatever I happen to come across, all mediums, everything's mixed up, it's a bit of everything. A project sketchbook is when I only pick up that sketchbook to do one thing. So for example, in the past, I have done a sketchbook where I've just done continuous line drawing of cups. And this project sketchbook is my blue cactus sketchbook. And in this sketchbook, I am simply sketching little mini cactus or cacti. And I have a huge collection of them that live in these little tiny pots. I'm a little bit of a cactus nut. I really enjoy them. I like them. They make me happy. And so what I do is I go through and I just sketch them using this blue ink. Now I started this sketchbook in September 2022. And I go through phases. Sometimes I'll sketch almost every day. So this little phase here is from October 2022, and then I've done November, so I've done quite a lot that year. Continued into 2023, January, February. In 2023 I did some in March, some in October, and then I haven't done any for a while. So a project sketchbook is one where I choose a subject matter and a material and repeat, just rinse and repeat, open it up, do the same thing again. This particular sketchbook is a Sea Whites of Brighton concertina sketchbook. It has a really lovely cover to keep the sketchbook protected that you can store it in. And I'm a little bit organised in that I'm using that word instead of some slightly more negative words. I like to label my sketchbooks when they're finished and put them on the side so I can find them. And this is mainly because most sketchbooks are black. I tend to use the same sketchbooks again and again, and you can't tell the difference. So I just label them or make them a bit different so I can identify them. And this sketchbook is relatively small, so the individual pages are small. It's double thickness, so I'm not sure if you can really see that on the camera, but it's two bits of paper layered up. So it means that I can use ink, which is quite a wet media, and it doesn't buckle or bleed through to the other side. And it's a lovely sketchbook because you can look at it like a normal sketchbook, flipping through the pages, but also you can open it up and you've got this wonderful spread. And because I've stuck to one medium and one subject, obviously the sketchbook is related and it's themed and it has the same thing in it. And I love being able to go, I'm going to do a blue cactus today. And when I'm doing this, so for example, when I sort of started it or when I was in a little run of doing it, I would leave sketchbook, ink, paintbrushes, tools out on the desk. So I come to my desk via picking up a cactus and putting it down and then just get on with that sketch for the day. So I haven't got to think about what to sketch because I know I'm doing a blue cactus. I know the material, I know the subject, I know the sketchbook. I can just get on with it and it takes me about 5 minutes to do. So let me talk about these materials. So I've got a thing about blue. I love blue. And I picked up this blue ink when I was in an art shop in Paris a couple of years ago. It's a Sailor brand, Shikori ink dye. It's just a blue sort of, I suppose it's a bit like a navy blue ink. And I use it in two ways. First way I use it is with a paintbrush. And I've just got some spare paper here just to show you how I can use this. So you can use it with a paintbrush. I also quite like watering it down. So one thing I would normally do is just put a little bit into a separate paint palette over here, add a bit of water so you can water it down to get lighter tones. So that's the lovely thing. I love a round brush or a Chinese brush. It would be these sort of things that I use with it. So that's one way that I could use the ink, is either watered down or direct from the pot to create those darker tones. Really lovely marks you can get with these Chinese brushes. The other way that I use the ink is with a little dip pen. I love this dip pen because it's small. I've got a thing about all things small. I've got a thing about art materials. I love collecting them and buying them. So I'm very aware that every time I do one of these sketchbook stories, there's a new sketchbook, there's a new pen, there's a new this and that. I just love art materials. Aren't they fun? Aren't they wonderful? And I think sometimes that's the joy of sketching is the materials themselves. If the materials excite you, if the materials bring you joy, you're going to enjoy sketching. I love getting this teeny tiny little dip pen out. I got it from a little art shop in Paris. And I just picked it up, not really worrying about it. And I love it. It's really nice. Great thing with a dip pen, you just dip the pen in the ink just so that the well fills up at the back. You can press lightly to get a thin line, you can press more firmly to get a thicker line, and you can vary your line as you're drawing. And I quite like this. There's something lovely about dipping and sketching. There's something mindful about it, and the quality of line is really, really interesting. So when I'm sketching these cactus, I use a combination of both techniques of using paintbrush and using dip pen. So I'll just quickly show you sort of how I would approach a sketch like this. I would normally start with the pen drawing. You can do either way. You can sketch however you want. It's completely up to you. And you can also vary how you approach a sketch. You do not have to sketch like I do, and you can mix it up. So you could just start with lighter tones in the background. So that could be a cactus, that could be a pot. So you could just start with that and then work in pen over the top. What I find with this though is I need to leave this to dry, and patience is not my strongest suit. I like to work quickly. I'm not patient. When I want to do this, I want to come to the sketchbook, do it in one go, move on, leave it to dry. So I don't tend to work that way around because of my lack of patience. So you might be a beautifully, wonderfully patient person and want to work in those lovely layers, and that is perfect for you. So please don't feel that you have to work the way I work. It's just that's my nature and how I like to approach something. So what I would normally do is just begin by sort of sketching out the drawing with a relatively light touch. I love the structure of cactus. They're all very, very interesting. They're weird, they're wonderful. You know, some of them have got these amazing mathematical patterns to them. Like this one here, when you look at the way that the points are sticking out, ignore the fluff, but these bits here sticking out, it's in a wonderful spiral arrangement that flows down from the central point and pivots out. It's just beautiful. So this gives me the opportunity to study these. So what I would do is I'd have a look at this general structure and form, and then I start to look at the pot shape. So I'm going from the natural, the organic, to the man-made, and the sometimes more regular and structured and circular. So I would get the basic form of the pot in as well. I love using this dip pen for spikes. I mean, they just make the best spikes. I mean, look at that. Oh, it's just glorious. I think that's my favourite thing about sketching cactus, are the spikes. You've got the little fluffy bits very often, and some of the spikes, you know, you can see the spikes are different, and this is what I love about a project-based sketchbook, is the different things you see each time you come. The difference in some of these spikes, so some of the spikes are really long and thin, some of them are just a little bit more angular, and then some of them, like this guy, is fluffy, 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 fluffy. So what I'm exploring when I'm sketching is how can I record, you know, these differences. You know, look at these big spiky spikes. I mean, that's going to hurt your finger if you go near it. You know, those are much bigger spikes. This one, bit more fluffy, a few more spikes. And then you've got the shape, you've got the tone, you've got the patterns of the pot. I mean, there's just so much to look at here. Some of these are little succulents as well, rather than being specifically cactus. And then once I've got the basic image done, I've only started here, I haven't actually completed it, I'm literally just doing a quick demo. I would then look at, where can I add in the tone. So very often, I think I've got something else mixed in there, that would be looking for it's gone green. I think I've got some other ink in there. I would look at finding the tones in here. Where are my dark bits? Often there's darkness in the pot here. There's often some shadow. There's often some deep shadow in the recesses of the cactus. And I love also studying this cast shadow that comes from the base of the pot. So within these sketches, I'm looking at several things. I'm looking at the light and dark. I'm looking at the patterns on the pots. I'm looking at the spikes. I'm looking at the shape of the cactus. And I'm just having a really wonderful old time. And I've still got several pages to go, so I will do some more of these sketches over the course of time. I tend to film them and share them as reels on my Instagram account at Susan Yeates Artist. So do feel free to hop on over there. I'm just going to write that down because I've got a weird spelt name. Susan Yeates Artist. And my blue cactus reels you will find on there, and there'll be more of those as I finish this particular sketchbook. But that just gives you a really basic, quick understanding, and like the stories behind this. I sketch these because I love little cactus. I used to have a cactus subscription to a place called Barry's Cactus, I think it was called. I've stopped that because I keep buying them in garden centres. I buy these little cactus. I've got lots of little pots, and the history behind the pots is that, yes, these came with my subscription, but I also own a pottery cafe. I love pottery. I love ceramics. Two of my favourite things, plants, ceramics. So me sketching this is joyful. I love sketching this, but it's also convenient. I have these at home. Sometimes I've sketched the same cactus, a few times because I don't have 40 cactus. I mean, I'm pretty close. And what I'll also do is I'll swap the cactus in the pots to give me different combinations. But that's the story behind my blue cactus sketchbook. It's a work in progress, it's a project sketchbook, and it's something I enjoy. So the takeaways I would say from this video of, the stories behind this is that this is something I enjoy. It's something convenient, and it's a project sketchbook. That means that when I come to the sketchbook, I know what I'm doing, what material, what subject. It's a material I enjoy, with a pen and ink that are special, a technique that I'm developing and exploring repetitively, and it just makes me very happy doing this. And I think that's probably why I haven't finished this sketchbook, is because I've really enjoyed it. I enjoyed creating these sketches, and I almost don't want it to finish. I am fully aware I could buy a new sketchbook and carry on, and I think I might do that, these cactus sketches, because they are super, super fun. So I hope you found this useful today. I hope you find it valuable. If you would like more sketching tuition or inspiration from me in the form of prompts, do come and have a look at my website, susanyeates.co.uk, or hop on over to my Instagram account where I share lots of reels and fun stuff all about sketching. Have fun, and I hope you sketch some blue cactus as well. Take care.